Welcome to Behind the Badge with your special guest, Lieutenant Williams, your news source for all things police in the city of Fond du Lac.
Welcome back into Fond du Lac today on News Talk 1450 and 100.7 KFIZ. It's Friday morning. We got Lieutenant Williams in the studio, and we have a special guest, Tyler, joining us this morning.
We have Tyler Utpadel, our brand new officer. He just started on Friday. Tyler, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm from central Wisconsin, small town in Auburndale. It's between Marshfield and Stevens Point, if you know where that is. And I just finished up the academy here in December and starting my career here in Fond du Lac.
We brought him into Thunderstruck by AC/DC. It was
nice.
A pretty good entrance.
I assume that's on the YouTube page, something people can see there?
That is on the YouTube page. Hey, that's a good plug. Thank you.
I got you. I'm used to this whole plug thing.
So you're my subscriber.
I want to circle back to Tyler real fast. What first kind of got you interested in criminal justice?
I just did a couple ride-alongs in high school and everything. So that kind of...
Okay. Were you part of any Explorers program or anything like that?
No, I just worked like part-time doing like reserves for Wood County and then part-time doing boat patrol down in Rome.
Awesome, great to hear. And like Tyler's like gearing to go, like the first couple of guys we talked about how, they're just beginning the footsteps. This is where Tyler's at now.
Yeah, and the nice thing, Tyler's what we call a bonus candidate because he came to us certifiable, which means he already had the academy. Mm-hmm. Those other three we had to kind of send through the academy, but he's all ready to go. So he basically is going through 2 weeks of his orientation right now, which, as we were learning, is very kind of chaotic, but it's controlled chaos to a point. And then he's going to be starting on the road, which it's nice to find people with Tyler's status so they can get on the road a lot quicker. Obviously, we're down some officers. We want to relieve some overtime for those working officers, and hopefully we can get him on the road and working and get that all worked out.
What shift are we going to be seeing Tyler if we run into him out on the streets?
Well, that's a good question. So we have some vacancies, and it depends where the existing officers choose. So they can kind of repick. So if someone, they were the last officer picked and they ended up on night shift and they don't want that, then they'll have a chance to go to second shift, and it's kind of where it all evens out. But it'll be seconds or nights, and whichever one he ends up on, because there's going to be a lot of people coming behind him, he's probably going to be able to have his choice, which is kind of nice. Like a lot of us starting out in law enforcement, we didn't have our choice on which shift to go to, so it's
probably meant thirds, right? You're working those overnights.
See, I like third shift because I played softball, and I like to have my nights off. So I'd go and play softball at night and then go into work, and that worked out good for me. And then when I had kids, it actually worked out well because I could go to all their stuff and all their functions and whatnot.
But Tyler, just a young man, just getting started, so he'll be happy wherever he's working, right, Tyler?
Yep.
Awesome. And I know there's another big announcement that you guys are working on, Lieutenant Williams.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's body-worn cameras. I think maybe a lot of people don't know that we don't have body-worn cameras. So I'll be honest, we might be a little bit behind the ball as far as agencies, but there's a lot of things that people don't think about that come with body-worn cameras too, such as what do you do with all that storage? Because all that video takes up a lot of space. In fact, it's not that we are without video. We have squad cars that record video all the time, and there's actually microphones that are on our officers. So even if you don't get it on video, it's probably recorded audibly some way. But now we're going to go to the full body cameras where we'll have video and audio. And with that, as our chief has always done, he wants to reach out to the community and have a couple listening sessions. I have the dates here. I have them on my phone. I keep refreshing the screen, so I want to say them. It looks like the first one's February 21st from 4 p.m. to 5:30 at the City Council Chambers at 160 South Macy Street. And the second one is February 25th from 8:30 in the morning till 10 in the morning at the City Council Chambers on 160 South Macy Street.
So we're talking about this upcoming Monday at night, and we're talking about next Friday is when these hearings will be.
Yeah, and what it is we're basically going to go over with the public what our policy is and kind of hear from them what they think about it. When you think about body-worn cameras, there's a lot of other things like privacy rights of people, like what videos do they want shared with the public, because we have open records laws as well. So if we go into someone's residence, does that video get released to the public, and what's our policy on that? we are lucky in the city of Fond du Lac that we kind of use what is called Lexapol, but it's a bunch of policies that are based off best practices across the United States. So it's not just city of Fond du Lac saying, hey, let's do this. It's like, this is what works in the nation, and there's a reason for it because it's all court defensible. Well, all the body cam stuff is new. So we now know what the best practices are for it. We formulated a draft policy. We'll let the public kind of give their feedback on it. And we're talking about rolling out body cams as soon as like having some testers out there. So we have a couple of officers that are chosen as the almighty testers of it.
Guinea pigs?
On each shift. Yeah, the guinea pigs. I like testers, you know. And then that'll happen in March already. Which is right around the corner, and then you'll start seeing all officers wear them probably April, May in that range there.
So this is something that basically you start your shift and it's just going to be recording your entire shift, right?
So that'll be part of the policy of what are we going to actually record. Most recording devices are constantly recording. However, whether that recording is accessible is a different thing. So let me just say that. Most body cams are programmed so that when you hit a button, or let's say you get jolted, like someone's attacking you, or maybe it's synced with your lights on your squad car, that'll automatically operate.
Okay.
And when it does that, it usually records back in time. Like, so it won't just start recording when you hit record, but it'll actually record the prior 3 minutes. Well, how does it do that? It doesn't have like a DeLorean, doesn't go back in time in it. It's actually continuously recording, and it just timestamps that 3 minutes before.
And then it just kind of will delete everything before that, to where that won't be available yet.
Yeah, so it'll make that segment of time more readily available for the officers. So we still have that technology in our cameras. So like we'll have like traffic, we'll be sitting at an intersection and a car will blow through a red light, and you're kind of like, wow, did that just happen like right in front of me? And you can like just hit the camera and like go back the 3 minutes, say, oh yes, that happened and that's on camera. I should probably pull that person over. So,
gotcha. So when we're looking at kind of incorporating this, it's going to be a lot more video that you guys are going to have to kind of sift through and stuff, right?
Right. So right now we actually have 2 property clerks that basically burn all video to DVDs just for storage purposes. The nice thing about the Axon body cameras that we're getting is they give you a different solution for storage, and that's through a global network called evidence.com. It's already in place for storing evidence of taser use. Okay. So they have this big system already in place, and I believe how the system works is kind of like the cloud on your Apple devices or whatever, where you just pay for the amount of storage that you use. So it's very user friendly if it all works. Now there's always going to be growing pains and all that stuff, but the taser company they're always kind of renewing themselves and making better stuff. I'm not plugging for them or anything like that, but they do a good job as far as upgrading themselves and making themselves better and more accessible for law enforcement to use.
And again, a hearing on this is going to be Monday night and next Friday in the morning. We have the times up on our website, kfiz.com. You'll be able to be a part of that if you choose to be a part of it. When we're talking about these body cams, I know we've talked about other subjects in the past that you guys are more maybe ahead of the curve on how you guys treat certain circumstances. So there's nothing to really be worried about on that instance, right?
No, we're actually, I'm looking forward to it, and I think most of the supervisors are, because we know that our officers do the right thing almost every single time, and unless you have that video footage of it, then there's always going to be that shred of doubt, because someone is going to be adamant about this or that, and to have that actual physical proof. We have definitely proved more officers, innocent of stuff that they were reported to do because we've had that video footage or the audio footage. And I spent a short time as a supervisor on night shift, and I didn't take many officer complaints, but I did take one. And I had 2 officers that recorded the whole thing, and they reported that the officer said something, and I could hear the whole conversation, and the word was never said. Wow. And that's just as important as finding, information against the officer, but to redeem the officers and show that it is what you thought. We are putting the right people out there, especially in the city of Fond du Lac.
Awesome. Guys, I appreciate you stopping by this morning. Anything you want to hit on before I let you get out of here, Lieutenant Williams?
No, look for Officer Utpadel, badge number 32 out there. He's going to be hopefully hitting the streets in 2 weeks, starting his field training program. If we remember way back, the first 3, they're almost out. They only got like 2 weeks left.
That's exciting.
So they'll be hitting the road. That'll be a great addition. And then we have Officer Barrett that we talked about. He was here once too, and he's about a month and a half behind. So we got all these little segments of officers that are starting at different times. It's kind of fun. So.
And Officer Utpadel, before I let you get out of here, what are you looking forward to the most here in Fond du Lac?
I'm just getting to know the community, kind of, expand my horizons on everything, and just get to be a part of the community here.
Awesome. Guys, I appreciate the time. Lieutenant Williams, we'll chat next week for Behind the Badge right here on News Talk 1450 and 100.7 KFIZ.